Hi and welcome to the back office teardown lab, and this is a very interesting conundrum. So I have this Noco GB20 that I've had for years actually, and it just sits until it's needed and generally it works. Last time I used it, it did act a bit weird, you know, in that it was messing around with the flashing these lights and eventually did jump start the vehicle, but I was a little bit sus with it, but you know, I forgot about it, chucked it in the drawer. I decided today to go and charge it, and lo and behold, it didn't seem like it was acting normally, and I was trying to use the light, and then the light wasn't working. Then the light came on, and now the light will not go off, and now the unit will not go off. So I think it's time for a teardown. Now the thing about these, which is a little bit scary, I think it's supposed to have, did it say 400 watt-nots? 24 watt hours lithium ion. Oh, it can output 400 amps max. So there you go. That's a kind of a scary amount of amperage, enough to give you a very bad day if you short something out. So I'm going to go in and figure out what type of security screws it uses. And I did get this set some time back. It's probably years back now. But very handily, it does tend to have most of the sizes you need. It looks like there's only 6 screws, so that's a relief. Come on. It's complaining. We'll get it though. Huzzah! The last one. Okay. Go. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Look at that. That is absolutely terrifying. Imagine shorting that. And why is it so crusty? That's the odd thing here. So everything's soldered though. The battery is totally soldered to this board. I can't see any obvious way to disable it. My idea basically was, how can we disable whatever controls the logic on this board? Oh, we can. So it looks like, although that's fairly fixed, you can see underneath there that there's a couple of connectors here that go to the logic board. I'm guessing we can pop those. Oop, the lights are gone. Oh no, stay where you are. There we go. Right. Look at that. Those are your big power transistors in there that are switching that. Oh, and those pins actually come out, but look, they come out bare. So you don't want to short those out either. Right. So there's a lot of things here to contend with. Let's have a look. You've got some 8 AWG cables basically coming from the battery. So they're just wired straight in and they're going via this big chunky relay. And interestingly, these transistors. So I'm like, why do you have both? It's an interesting one, because you'd also think that maybe these are a combination. Maybe the relay is a safety, and it then uses the transistors to actually do a controlled activation. So if you can imagine, if you only use the relay instead of the transistors, it's probably going to basically jam the contacts because they'll burn together. Now we've got the multimeter out. Let's see if there's anything going on here. Well, it's saying 7 volts. Let's try the main contacts here. Actually, that's not what we want. Where is what we want? We want to go between here and here, I guess. Yep, that's minus 11.5 volts. So yeah, if you touch that to that, it's going to be party time here. All sorts of arcs going. However, I cannot see in my immediate vicinity something that you could use to stop that happening. Okay, we're good again. A little bit of heat shrink on there. I haven't bothered to heat it, it's just popped over just to stop the casual touching. Now, I want to see what's going on here, because it feels to me like this board is possibly providing some power all the time via these pins. Interestingly, there's some sort of gunk or conformal coating on this edge, but nothing on this edge. So at least we can measure from it. And again, I'm not measuring anything. So maybe this is a sense, so that when this thing is, its brains are activated, it's doing this to see if you've connected the battery of your vehicle there. Oh my word. So I was really hoping to get in here to see what's going on with these buttons, but look, these are actual real tack switches. They're not, as this would indicate, you know, like simple cap, you know, those metal dome switches like you get in an old Atari VCS. These are actual tack switches, but there is some gunk here, so I feel that at least I might make an effort to clean around the PCB just in case, but I really doubt that's causing a problem. This is a very well made device. There's a lot on here. I mean, we've seen these before in the past where there's been very little under the hood. This is not the case here. It's got a lot going on. Interestingly, they're the LEDs that line up to these light, I guess it's a piece of foam that's acting as a kind of a light pipe, or really it's acting as a light insulator to stop them from bleeding over into each other. So that's back in. Again, that's interesting too. The old micro USB is on a little daughter board. There's probably the potential there if you wanted to replace that with a later USB-C, you possibly could. I'm wondering if they did that though, just to, you know, keep the heights nice when you get to this, because the PCB of course would be, you know, way further in. Right, now how do we go about testing this guy? Well, first things first, we're not going to hook anything up. Clearly nothing's going on. Actually, we could just do it this way. Don't have to have it in the case. Right. This says battery, and the other contact says NTC1. I kind of feel that's thermal detection circuit. NTC1. Okay, right. So I'll hold it this way so we can compare what we're looking at. Make sure the outputs are shut. Right, power on. Power off. So the power onning and the power offing is looking pretty good. Torch, nothing. Maybe you have to have power on first. Nope. So when I say torch, of course I mean flashlight if you're in the US, but there's no flashlighting happening here. So you've got an LED by the power switch, which is that one. You've got your charge status, which is saying 100%. There's a manual mode here, which is what this one denotes. Wow, you saw that. You heard that, by the way. When manual mode engaged, that's when the relay went into action there, and it's just like, okay. It means it's not going to do any monitoring. It's not checking the polarity, it's not checking anything, it's basically just overriding. Oh, and now, see the torch came on. Whoa. Okay, so the torch came on. You're seeing the 25 to 100% lights coming on, so that's fine. Maybe that's just part of it. When you turn the torch on, it's telling you how much charge. But it's not reliable. When I'm pushing the button, maybe it's the tack switch. Let's get some gunk in these. So what I'm using, by the way, is a PCB cleaner. Hopefully. It's not quite as good as a contact cleaner. Clearly, because it's... Oh, right. So there's the torch. Oh, we're seeing a bunch of different modes now working. And then, of course, if we want power, we can activate this thing. And then, scarily, I'm going to hold down the manual mode. Bang! Active. And bad things are going to happen. So maybe that's all it is. I mean, if you've got one of these that's playing up, I don't think they're particularly cheap, so it's well worth doing. I wouldn't advise doing what I'm doing though and doing it on a live running one. Disconnect it fully from the battery. And and away you go. I think that should be pretty good. So just assembling it, and look at this thing's crazy. So I'm making a big assumption anyway. I've got the polarity of these the right way around, but it feels like this is the way they'd want to go. But those are actually held in by the lid, so they, if you push in those contacts, they'll just slide into this unit. And this device here, look, it's got a little retaining feature. Let's try to see if we can origami all this in. Doesn't feel totally happy, and you don't want to snag it on some of these screws once you start assembling it back again. Yeah, so I think that's okay. I think that's it's just about okay. Let's put it that way. It's not amazing. In fact, it's scary. Look at that. Right, I think it's time to test this. So I do have the jump leads. I'm going to plug it in. Oh, hang on, how was I with it? Yeah. I was worried about the positive and the negative. I thought I got them the wrong way around, but then I forgot this was upside down when we assembled it. So we're going to attach one side to our negative. Oop. The jaws are too low-fi for this. It's a 25 volt capacitor, so technically nothing untoward should happen. So in the normal mode, I'm guessing it's not seeing it, it's not powering the output, so we're going to hold this down. Ooh, there we go. It's emergency energizing our capacitor. And if we want to, we should be able to turn the lights on. Hooray, we get to see some lights while that's going. I mean, okay. So if we take our voltmeter, pop it here, we should be seeing the full 12 volts. Here we go, 12.19. Good enough. Now let's take our capacitor out, being careful not to short those live contacts. And keep your eyes on the old multimeter screen. And there you go. 11.5, 11.4, 11.3, 11.2, 11.1. So you go, dissipating nicely. I found this on my shelf. It was some sort of HID light from a motorbike, which didn't really work very well. And this is the ballast for it. And I feel we took it apart in the previous video, but I can't remember why, if it was broken or not. But it does seem like something worth trying. So if you had the right cable set for this, it would be quite useful, because you could basically put like a normal lighter socket end on this. And then you'd be able to just use it as a 12 volt power bank. Here we go. Nothing shorting. There we go. I've got to put my hand in front because it's blinding me here. And that's groovy. I mean, I don't know how long though this will last, because in this... Whoa, what happened? What happened? Something happened there. I think just a clip jumped. But it's still working. But the colour of the light seems to have changed too. Let's try that again. I wonder why the colour of the light changed. Maybe, there we go. Maybe the voltage differed slightly. Go. Yeah. That is nice and bright. It's like an arc in here. It looks crazy. You won't really pick it up, I think, on the video, how bright this is. We should have some sort of filters that we can put in front of it that would demonstrate, you know, maybe some Quality Street wrappers, and then we could layer them up. And then at home, if you wanted to figure it out, you could also just tuck into that big box of Quality Street. Right, well, I think we fixed it. What can I say? Thank you for watching.